The miseries of Palestinians continue as Israel once again unleashes violence on worshippers at the Muslim holy site, Al-Aqsa Mosque, eliciting global condemnation and raising fears of escalation. The last couple of days has seen Israeli security forces enter illegally the Al-Aqsa Mosque in East Jerusalem, smashing windows, throwing stun grenades, firing tear gas, and tying the hands of Palestinian worshippers and arresting them. Although Israel has justified the move by citing the alleged presence of masked agitators in the mosque, Palestinians reject this claim and say such attacks are part of Israel's plan to change the status quo of Al-Aqsa Mosque and reflect the growing power of ultra-conservative Jewish groups. The raids come as the Muslim celebration of the month of Ramadan coincides with the Jewish Passover, which celebrated the escape of Israelites from slavery in Egypt. The raids elicited condemnation from across the world. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, said he was appalled by the violence of the Israeli forces against worshippers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque complex, while the Arab League called upon the UN to take more legal, humanitarian, and moral responsibility to halt Israeli aggression. Besides, the raids triggered a tit-for-tat attacks in the occupied Gaza Strip and South Lebanon and Israel. Israel carried out aerial attacks in the Gaza Strip and faced some retaliation in the form of rocket attacks from South Lebanon, which is controlled by Hezbollah, and the Gaza Strip, which is administered by the Palestinian militant organization Hamas. These attacks have raised fears of escalation and further violence in the region. With the rise of the Netanyahu-led right-wing government in Israel, multiple quarters have raised concerns, including the UN Security Council, that Israeli raids and provocative acts by some members of the cabinet, such as National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir's visit to the sensitive site of Al-Aqsa Mosque complex, an action which the Palestinian leadership has called unprecedented provocation, signals Israel's desire to change the status quo of Al-Aqsa Mosque complex. The complex holds religious importance for both Muslims and Jews. It is the third holiest site for Muslims, while Jews also revere this site, calling it Temple Mount. The status quo at the compound allows only Muslims to pray at the site. Though an arrangement formalized in 1994, Jordan shares joint custodianship of the Al-Aqsa compound with Israel. Jordan is its guardian, whereas Israel takes care of its security. Since the coming into power of a right-wing coalition government in Israel, there have been fears that illegal settlements will increase in occupied territories, besides encouraging right-wing Jewish groups, which have long called for changing the status quo at the Al-Aqsa compound and allowing Jewish prayer at the site. Some extreme groups even support the demolition of the mosque and supplanting it with the Jewish temple. Palestinians are fearful of the Israeli government's intention of changing the status quo of the Muslim holy site and its national symbol. It is worth recollecting that the Second Intifada resistance movement erupted when former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, in an act of provocation, visited the Al-Aqsa Mosque in 2000. al-Sharif is a microcosm of the Palestinian movement, as it generates and empowers Palestinian resistance and unites both the secular and religious forces. I'm Usama Nizamani, and this was your Daily Dispatch.